My hair's still wet, so we can still do some shower thoughts. Hi guys, I'm Fi, and I just got back from the NA WCQ a couple days ago. And you know, my NA WCQ experience was great. I flew out with some of my best friends from my locals area. Shout out to Jet Shao for almost making it with Spring Ann's Vanquish Soul. But I came into this with a couple of takeaways from my overall experience. So going into the event, everyone get ready to groan. I played Kashtira. Boo! But this whole event was really about me, myself as a player. And there were definitely some marked improvements with myself as a player. Typically in big events, I would say, blown out pretty quickly, where even after a tough loss, I'll just be moody for the whole rest of the event, and I just can't think, I can't compete, and I go out pretty early on. But in this event, even after my round 2 loss, I was able to quickly pick myself up and quickly deliver a 4-round win streak, even with a game loss in round number 3. And I made it all the way to round number 8. In round 7, I had to play against Elijah Green, and despite having a winning position going down into the time, overall, it's really a me thing where I did just need to make decisions and play faster and be more wary of the clock. And then in round number 8, I played against Purely and made some mistakes there. And that is kind of what has been a recurring theme, at least for this whole WCQ. So I never overrate myself as a person. I always undersell myself, but I am just a slightly above average player. I was making the decisions of a slightly above average player. If you looked at my games from perhaps like a third person perspective, from like an average player's point of view, you would just say, well, you lost those games in reasonable fashion. You made some reasonable plays, but you lost the game. And that's where my level as a player kind of comes into play. I, as myself, was playing consistently at an all-right level. I was playing at these levels where, at a surface level, these plays were fine. It's like in chess, where you're making good moves consistently, but you're not making the best moves, and then when your opponent is playing 100% to a T, they don't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake. They're the freaking Terminator, right? You're gonna fall behind eventually. And that's what ended up happening in a couple of my games where I wasn't playing 100% card efficient. And I missed a thing here, missed the thing there, missed an opportunity to break my opponent's board and give myself a chance into the game. And that's where I faltered. Postscript Phi here. I think a very big thing about this whole event as well is being able to win the games you can win. Bricking and getting sacked is a part of Yu-Gi-Oh! But when you are in a position, when you're actually playing the game, it is so important that you play perfectly, because you never know when you might be unable to win your next game. That is the best part about Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to say that I didn't draw unplayable all day with Kashtira. I had playable games every single round, and that is a luxury that not many people can have. That really comes down to yourself as a player trying to win those games. And in this situation, I got punished for those very mistakes. You have to play a step ahead of your opponent. And looking back, I can actually see some of the mistakes. In game number 3, I end up going first. I have an Arise Heart with 3 materials, and with Prosperity, I've used it to put an Elder Entity Entis underneath my Arise Heart. And my opponent is starting to build his Purely board. He has 2 Purely monsters on his side of the field. And he has just added his field spell to hand, Stray Purely Street. That is going to force an interaction out of my Arise Heart, because Stray Purely Street makes his Purely monsters untargetable, so I can no longer interact with his board if Stray Purely Street resolves. But I let him activate the card, which forces me to chain my Arise Heart. Now, the problem in this situation is I can reasonably expect him to have a triple tactics card in his hand, considering he hasn't played a single card of non-engine this entire game. So what I needed to do in this situation to stop my Arise Up from being taken and a massive Zeus being built on my opponent's side of the field is to go detach 3, banish my own Arise Heart face down before he activates the field spell, in order for my Elder Entity Entis to be able to destroy one of his purely monsters. That is the kind of play you need to make consistently in order to win. To banish your limited card face down, it's a crazy sight to see, but those are the type of plays you need to make in order to win these games. You have to take calculated risk. You can't play it safe. And, well, I made the logical decision of, keep my Horizon on board. It's a macrocosmos. It's so good, right? It's a limited card. Why would you banish this face down? There are so many conflicting ideas that are just inherently wrong to my head, but you have to take a moment to go against that grain. I mean, being a championship level player is all about consistency. How can you maintain player consistency throughout an entire event? Or maybe you can just sack everyone. I don't know. But what I learned, I'll bullet point this in this video. Maintaining player consistency, playing above and beyond, not just playing the average, because you will lose playing the average. That is specifically what I learned throughout this event. And it seems pretty small, but this is just me being better as a player that needs to occur in order to go deep in these big events. And this kind of improvement takes focused practice. You have to go into every single session with an end goal at the end of it if you want to be extremely good at something. I'm a commentator by trade, by day, and to improve as a commentator, you have to watch back your videos. You have to see how you can improve as a commentator. You can't just walk away from each broadcast and say, dang, that felt pretty good, and then just come back another day. You have to work. It takes focused effort to improve at anything. And I think the same will have to go for Yu-Gi-Oh! My hair's still wet, so it's still a shower thought. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until another major event where I have some takeaways to take away from, that worked. We'll see you guys on another video soon. TM. Peace.